Alright, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of TEW Local Global 1987. We're back with some GCW. Let's get straight into GCW Fuel. We're starting off with a pre-show bout. We've got Mark Merrow getting a victory over Mike Enos, and Mark Merrow gets a 52. Good work, Merrow. Mike Enos gets a 29 because he's garbage, but you know what? It's fine. He's only here to, do the job. So, 47. And we're getting on to the actual show. Great start. We're in the ring with the Syndicate. Steve Austin, Jesse Ventura, The Big Show, Ken Shamrock, and Johnny Valiant. A quick reminder. Owner. Leader. Muscle. The commissioner of GCW, Johnny Valiant. And J.J. Dillon is not here right now, but because he's not a part of Syndicate. But he will be here next week to announce some news regarding the Summer Series. So stay tuned for that. But DDP comes out after the Syndicate got a little promo. And he wants Steve Austin. He wants Austin at War in Wales, the pay-per-view at the end of the month. But Austin, of course, refuses. And Dustin, who I didn't put in the segment, but let's pretend he's there. I forgot to put him in. Dustin Rhodes volunteers. So it's going to be DDP versus Dustin Rhodes at War in Wales. Gets a 100. First singles match of the night. Al Snow gets a victory over Super Calo. 6:18, Al Snow defeats the LWO's Calo with a snowplow. So 66 for Al Snow. By the way, Snow is over. I've been checking his popularity, and he gained like 30 popularity points in the past 5 months or whatever. He's like at mid-50s now. He's super over. And Calo is getting a 39, which is not terrible. I expected worse. Gets a 70. We're in the ring with the Nation of Domination and Battle Pro Initiative, BPI, come out. Chris Benoit, Lance Storm, Satoshi Kojima, and their manager, Teddy Long. And it's announced that The Rock will be teaming with Farouk against Chris Benoit and Lance Storm tonight in the main event. Gets a 67. Backstage, Candido and Jericho attack Al Snow after his victory earlier tonight. So, progression on the Al Snow versus the two Chris's storyline gets a 63. We got some tag team action here. The Hardys get a rare victory for them at this point against the Godwins when Jeff pinned the pig, Phineas I. Godwin, with a swanton. So, rare to see the Hardys get a victory on GCW, especially at this time period. So it gets a 50. We're in the ring with Rey Mysterio, and the LWO come out, and they surround the ring. And Billy Kidman and Chavo back up Rey Mysterio. So, this storyline is progressing as well. Rey Mysterio defeated Eddie for the Cruiserweight Championship last night in the game at Defiance. And it looks like Eddie isn't quite over that. It's a 49. Backstage, we're with Stevie Ray. He cuts a promo on Booker T and how he cost him the television championship last night. But they will be facing off at War in Wales. We got the New Age Outlaws cutting a promo as the once again new World Tag Team Champions, and the Eliminators and the rest of the flock come out, and they attack the Outlaws, and Triple H runs down and helps the New Age Outlaws clean house, so it gets a 67. We've got a singles match. Mortis gets a victory over Johnny Ace, and in 5:40, Johnny Ace gets flattened with the flatliner. So 69 for Mortis. Mortis is also over. We're backstage with Steve Austin and Dustin Rhodes, and Austin tells Dustin, "You better take care of DDP or else." So some tension between these two remain. 85. Sting cuts a promo on The Undertaker attacking him, and Paul Bearer comes out. And, Sting pushes, and eventually Bearer spills that he has never seen The Undertaker this angry since his brother. And as soon as he says that, the gong hits, and Undertaker appears in the ring and just starts pummeling Sting. Hits him with the tombstone, and when he hits it, afterwards he looks up at Paul Bearer and just stares him down, and then he leaves. So, Apparently Undertaker doesn't like when somebody mentions his brother. I wonder why. Gets an 88. And we get our main event. BPI, Chris Benoit, and Lance Storm defeat The Rock and Farouk when Chris Benoit defeated Farouk with a surprise roll-up. And afterwards, The Rock and Farouk argue to end the show. Gets an 88. So not too shabby. Load, please. Taking her sweet time. Sometime today it will load and, I'll be happy. Until then. Oh, there you go. IWA Japan are in a bad place. Oh, Jesus. You think? What's their size looking like? Well, they're not big. They're not worth it. Alright, what did Raw get? We did better than Monday Night Raw. Who's best of the best? Terry and Hector. Terry Funk and Hector Guerrero looks like. Okay. So I just realized I have Ace of Spades here. I don't want that to take place in July. August is Summer Showdown, so September would be the next one. Alright, I'll be back and we'll get to the next fuel right now. Second show of today's episode, and let's get straight into it. Before we begin though, I have found the product for Hell in a Cell, and I have changed it. We are officially on a new product. It's called the No Style Style. Basically, there's no style. There's no products, just a mix of everything, which means that the crowd wants 3 types of matches, which is the only annoying part. So now I have to have 3 different match types on every card. A little bit more work, but it's not the end of the world. At least now I can do Hell in a Cell. It also means that they're more open, which means I can do a lot more different match types without penalties. So the next time I have a Hell in a Cell, it's probably going to be pretty good as opposed to a 28. But anyway, let's get straight into today's show. So DDP is cutting a promo, and Dustin Rhodes comes out, and it's, of course, they're talking shit about each other, and they will be facing off at War in Wales. Just a reminder, gets an 82. We begin with a 3-on-3 match. Rey Mysterio, Chavo, and Billy Kidman face off against the Latino World Order, and this did way better than I thought it would. This is the first match type I have on this card. It's high spots, and they're all very good at high spots, Rey is, at this point, Rey is the best in the ring, probably in the world in terms of high-flying capabilities at this point in 96. And Chavo is also a very good, very underrated performer, and Billy Kidman as well. Maybe not at this point, but they would become very underrated performers. And Latino World Order, of course, Aguilla, Super Colo, and Hector Garza. All 3 are fantastic cruiserweights, fantastic workers. And it gets an 81. Did it work? There we go. We're in the ring with The Flock. And, they're talking shit, and DX comes out. And it's announced that the Outlaws will be facing off against Riggs and Cronus next week for the Tag Team Championships. Gets an 85. We've got a Nation of Domination promo, and, Farouk says, if Rock hadn't been in that match, I would have defeated Chris Benoit easily. He would never have pinned me. And JJ comes out and he says, well, let's put that to the test, because tonight, Farouk, you're facing off against Chris Benoit in the main event. It's a 93. We've got a tag team match. This is another one of the different match styles. Who is doing that with their damn car? You're not cool. Please stop. Sorry, loud noises. We get the Hardys versus Too Cool. This match took place on Saturday Night's Wrestling, and it did pretty good, so I thought I'd put it on TV. And did pretty good on TV as well. I gave them a car crash style, and it looks like it paid off well, so gets a 65. J.J. Dillon comes out. This is what I've been waiting for. He announces the format of this year's Summer Series, and so will I. So here's the thing. This year's Summer Series, instead of having 8 competitors, so 4 quarterfinal matches, semifinals, and the finals, we're going to have 16 competitors, which means there's going to be the qualifying round, then the quarterfinals, then the semifinals, and then the finals. The quarterfinals, the first round matches, and the quarterfinals will all take place on GCW program. So the first 8 matches, round 1, will all be held on Saturday Night's Wrestling. 2 matches each week. So starting this week, there's 2. Next week, there's 2. Week after, there's 2. And then first week of August, there's 2 as well. And then the quarterfinals will be held on Fuel. So the first quarterfinal will be on Fuel week 2 of August. The second quarterfinal will also be on that week. And the next week will be the other 2 quarterfinals, which leaves 1 week, the go-home show, with no matches of the Summer Series, because on pay-per-view will be the semifinals and the finals. It may sound confusing, but I promise I made it sound way more confusing than it actually is. And it's a very stacked Summer Series this year. I'm going to run over the first round matches real quick. So in the first round, Dustin Rhodes versus Mortis. Farouk versus Chris Benoit once again. Outlaw Wyndham versus Lance Storm. Chris Jericho versus Al Snow. Alex Wright versus Steve Austin. Diamond Dallas Page versus Jerry Lynn. Stevie Ray versus Buff Bagwell. And Chris Candido versus Booker T. And that's it. And we're backstage with the just mentioned Booker T, and he says he's in the Summer Series, but first, he's going to deal with Stevie at War in Wales. Gets a 74. Rob Van Dam versus Greg Valentine. I saw that Rob Van Dam was like the lowest rated position he can be on the roster. He's unimportant, and I thought that doesn't make sense. Let me push him a little bit, and so we're going to start the RVD push, and gets a 72, so good thing I'm pushing him. 70. Okay, we're backstage with J.J. Dillon, and he tells us that he, of course, is facing Chris Jericho in the first round next week on Saturday Night's Wrestling. Because this week is Dustin versus Mortis and Farouk versus Benoit. Man, Farouk versus Benoit twice in the same week. 3 times in the past 2 weeks, if you want to count the tag team match. I did not think that through. Backstage with The Undertaker and Paul Bearer, they're cutting a promo on Sting being a little piece of shit. I don't know what to say, but 82, The Undertaker wants the world title. That's it. Oh, and there you go. Chris Benoit defeats Farouk in 1454 with a surprise roll-up, and The Rock accidentally cost Farouk the match. And they have pretty good chemistry, that's good. Gets an 87. And afterwards, the whole Nation of Domination are arguing as Chris Benoit celebrates to end the show. Come on, a 90. Yes, 91. Great show, great show. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but the new WWE World Champion, our old alliance, the champion right now is Tatsumi Fujinami, which I thought was quite interesting, to say the least. And also, I signed new wrestlers to developmental deals. So let's go see who I signed. Okay, so I think it was Quinn Sanders. He wanted me to sign Adam Pearce. So I signed Adam Pearce. He wanted... Let's see, who else did he want? He wanted Ekmo Fatu, also known as Umaga. And I also signed Chemo, because I can't have one without the other. So they're going to be 3-minute warning when they come up eventually. And, eventually we'll also have Ekmo just be Umaga, and Chemo will be... Is it Rosie? It's Rosie, right? Yeah. Who else did I sign? I signed another guy. Who else was it? It's not Tony Norris. Sean Stasiak. Meat. So I signed Sean Stasiak as well. Okay. And the titles are still doing well in the Child Company, I'm pretty sure. Curryman, the Harris Twins, and Sexton Hardcastle. Alright, well that's going to be it from me. Thank you guys for watching this episode of GCW. Make sure to like if you like this video, subscribe if you want more. And here's to many more Hell in a Cell matches. Alright, have a good one. Goodbye.